Hello everyone and welcome to my review of the Rings of Akhaten. Now normally I'd start off with a bit of a plot summary, but it was a little bit of a complicated plot to be perfectly honest. What can I say? The Doctor and Clara journey to the Rings of Akhaten for the festival offerings, and the old god is waking up, so they've got to try and stop him, or it. It starts off a bit of sort of average story, sort of very, very alien. They go and investigate all these alien cultures and stuff, which is a bit of a reminiscent of the end of the world. Then, of course, Clara bumps into Mary Galel. I hope I pronounced that right. If I did pronounce that right, that's the first. And it sort of progresses that she needs to sing this song because she's a special person or something like that. Yeah, okay. I'm not a big fan of musical. I don't think singing quite works in Doctor Who. However, I watched it and I realised that it was actually a bit more relevant to the story, whereas like A Christmas Carol, the only reason singing was there because Catherine Jenkins had been cast. That's all I got from it. If there was another reason, I mean, come on, the fish like the singing. That is just a rubbish excuse, but it's a nice little way of actually showing an alien culture having singing and stuff. I mean, if aliens decided to come to Earth, they'd probably be interested in seeing a concert or something. And then Mary Galel gets kidnapped, and it goes to this creature, the mummy, which is apparently the old god, but ends up being the alarm clock. I got a little bit confused at that point. Why was the mummy there? That's a bit of a blatant thing, but oh well. I did feel the bit where they finally get inside was a little bit dragged out. Like the Doctor's got the door and he's like, "Ugh, keep it up." I was a bit like, okay, why can't you just let the door shut? Eventually he does, but I did think that seemed a little bit dragged out. But, you know, you can live with that. I'll talk about the beginning in a second, but, you know. And it sort of turns out that this isn't the main focus of the story. This mummy isn't the old god, and it turns out to be the sun, in which it suddenly feels a bit like 42. I think it was the sun. If that was a planet, then it's a bit weird planet. I'm pretty sure it's the sun, and all the rocks and everything are like mini planets. Oh well. Which turns out to be alive and some kind of parasite or vampire that's sort of feeding on all these stories and souls. It's quite an interesting idea, I have to admit. When I suddenly realised it was the sun, I was a bit like, oh god, not 42. That was one of the things I didn't like about 42, the fact that they were saying the sun was alive. Didn't look that alive. Yeah, and then it sort of suddenly goes back to the beginning idea, and turns into this emotional story for Clara. So, yeah. It's a very emotional story for, of course, our companion Clara, and it kind of works well. The beginning is quite good. I do think it's odd that it takes Clara a little while to realise it was the Doctor there and stuff, but oh well. I guess you can, if you're little like that, you're not going to remember everything. But it does feel a bit odd that the Doctor's looking back at Clara's life. Could just be me. But, it was interesting. I guess he's trying to find out whether she's real or whatever. This is really difficult to review because I like parts of it and I don't like other parts of it. It starts off really average and goes into a pretty good story. What did I like? What didn't I like? Clara leaving at the end I felt was a little bit naff because you know she's going to be in the next episode. What? The editing was really good. The creatures, the aliens looked really cool, and the CGI did, and you got the moped hovery thing. Although what did seem a bit odd was that the seller was still there. Surely he'd be out there doing the singing. I guess that's a little bit nitpicky, isn't it? I guess it kind of had something to the story, but I did feel like the emotional weight of Clara giving away her mum's ring was kind of lost by the end of it, and I didn't feel... Compared to episode 1, this felt a lot more like this is Clara's chance to prove herself. For instance, episode 1, she gets kidnapped twice. This episode, she ends up saving the day for, the third time? I don't know. I really want to rate this episode lower, but then I can't think of what's so bad about it. So I'm going to have to give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, I think that's fair. A very, very good episode. That progressed quite well. It did feel a bit like it's 3 stories in one. It was a nice little emotional journey for Clara, although I did think it was a little bit odd how it takes only Clara's leaf to stop it all. I would have thought the Doctor's, all the Doctor scene would be enough. I mean, come on, he's been from the beginning to the end of the universe. I noticed a little reference, I'm not sure whether it's meant to be a little reference or not, to the E-Space trilogy, but I think it was a trilogy. Saying he's gone to all these different universes and stuff. I presume that was sort of going into the E-Space trilogy. I didn't expect to find out what Clara's leaf was. That was quite cool. Made sense. I think I picked out everything with it, haven't I? So 9 out of 10 from me. I know that's 2 9s out of 10s in a row, and it's kind of becoming a little bit common. Sorry. Next week's episode, next time trailer was really a bit naff, I felt. It was like, yeah, right, okay, we already know the Ice Warriors are in it. If you've seen the TV trailer, I just have. Not too sure what Clara's wearing. Yeah. If she's wearing nothing, I'm fine with that. If she's wearing something, then yeah, she's probably wearing something. It is Doctor Who after all. Of course, all eyes were on Clara for this episode, although my eyes were always in Clara for the past, how many episodes Clara's been in? 4 episodes now. So Psalm of the Heartstone sort of thing. I don't know, I think they're putting a lot of focus on Clara. It's only really taken this episode for Clara to really prove herself as a companion, I feel. I felt she did it in the Sign of the Daleks, and then they didn't do as good a job in the Snowman, and then they did a really naff job in the Bell of St. John, but... oh well. I don't understand why she left. I really don't. I feel it's a bit like, is that what they want to do? Is that what they want to have Clara going away and then coming back? Clara going away and coming back? I feel it's a little bit like, oh, this is Series 7 Part 1 all over again where it doesn't make sense. So did Clara just want to go on mini holidays? I mean, she doesn't really explain why she's leaving. I presume it's just the emotional value. Why can't she sort of get over it in the TARDIS or something? I don't know. I found it a bit odd, that. Yeah, it was a good episode, I guess. I can't really pick any major flaws in it. It was really good. All the sets and the CGI looked convincing, yeah. I do hope Clara ends up becoming a proper full-time companion, because it's becoming a little bit like a... just go and travel with him already, you know you want to. Oh well, hopefully next episode she'll start travelling with the Doctor. And I do look forward to the next episode. It looks surprisingly different. It looks quite dark. I'm hoping it will be quite dark. I think that's what Doctor Who needs right now. Although the thing I did note in this episode was when the Doctor's going all like, "You have it all." It really made me think of Gandalf and what's it called? It's gone from me now. the Shadow, was it? Something like that. I can't remember now. In the Mines of Moria, in Fellowship of the Ring, like, Gandalf's all... he says he had to go through this huge speech until he eventually comes to, "You shall not pass." It felt a bit like that when the Doctor was talking to the sun. Like in the end, like, "You have it all." Okay, I'm fine with that, I guess. So, yeah, 9 out of 10. I do look forward to next week's episode, and I do hope the series eventually gets Clara as a full-time companion. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.